Hey guys, Rich Ferguson here, and I'm back with an explanation of the fastest mind-reading card trick in the world. And there were a lot of fantastic theories, some of which were pretty funny, some of which were very close, and some of which were just very clever but not on track at all. I'm going to show you the secret, and if you haven't seen the video, you must watch it first. It's a prerequisite to this because otherwise you're too far ahead of the game. It's kind of like if I go to a party and I take a watch off somebody, their mind is blown. But if they walk up to me and they say, hey, take my watch, it doesn't have quite the same effect and I can't quite do it. So I want you to be fooled by it. So I want you to go watch the video. I'll put a link in the description and then come right back here and see this explanation. Hey, now before we get into the full explanation and some fun little stories revolving around this technique, I am going to be doing a fun giveaway. So stick around to the end of the video. We'll be talking about the eyeglasses. By the way, congratulations to Ryan H. for winning those in the Smartest Man Alive video, and we have to talk about some other giveaways, and I'm doing one at the end of this video. So stick around to the end. Now let's continue. Now you're gonna hate me because it's very, very cool. What you do is you set up the cards in a very specific way. This is the pattern. I will write it down and put it in the description. You put the cards in this particular order, and then psychologically, you can always make people pick the 26th card. It's unbelievable, you guys. It's unbelievable. Here, watch, I'll do it with you. I'm gonna fan the cards, and you just pick one at home right now. Do you have one? Fantastic. Who picked the queen? Anybody? No, I'm just messing with you guys. That's a very stupid trick. It can work one out of a few times. It's a reverse fan, just like some of you guessed. But there's so many other guesses that were so fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you don't hate me. It is a reverse fan, and for those who don't know how to do it, you basically put the cards in, well, it doesn't matter which hand you put it in, but you're gonna put it in this case, my right hand, with the cards hanging over to this direction. So when I fan them this direction with my left hand, they're going to be all blank, except for one card. Now, where this came from probably has a long history, but here's how I used it early on in like 1998 when I first got into Magic. I would put a blank card on there and I would show somebody a blank deck of cards, legitimately blank cards. I would close the fan up and I would do like a steal and I would stick an ace on there and I would rub the card paint onto the card, and then I could spread through them showing all the cards are now printed front and back. And it was such a mind-blowing thing. It used to be something I carried with me at all times. I just had to have one blank card, which you can get from a magic shop. And that was just a fun thing I used to do. And then another thing I started doing was fanning the cards in a blank way. But I would make sure that I would hold my fingers exactly over the spots to hide it. And it was just kind of a weird little hack and way to quickly do this to people as a gag as well. But the reverse fan basically lets the cards all be blank except for one. Now, why are they blank? Because the cards have white on the edge of the border right here. There's a lot of space, believe it or not. People don't realize it. So what I would do is I would walk up to people in this video and I would tell them to think of a card. Now, what's interesting about this, I would show them the fan the direction that would show the cards so everyone sees it. And it's really important to notice the difference here, because this isn't just going up and now you have a confederate, a person who's playing along. This is a lot more subtle than that. And I have to back up. I want to tell you guys a really cool story, because I do, not only say motivational talks, I do seminars and training on body language and influence for people for sales. And it's something I do in conjunction with my Magic, and it's a very big show. It's 2 to 2.5 hours long, and it's all geared toward the sales kind of community. And I go to retreats and conventions and conferences and things like that. And one of the things I do is I talk about dual realities in conversations, on how you can say something that's meant in a couple different ways, and you see how they take it in order to create your best response. And it's a very cool technique. In Magic, dual reality is similar, but it's a little bit different. Usually you're showing one person one sort of version of a trick, and the audience or other spectators another version of the trick, and neither one knows, and they may figure it out later, they may not. But this is one of those deals where if you were to walk up to someone on stage and the audience is over here, you say, think of one of these cards, and you know going into it that they're going to know there's only one choice. The style would be like this. Think of one of these cards. You have, or think of a card. Think of one card. You have one card, think of one card. And it's a gross joke almost, because you know they know there's only one card. And the audience doesn't know. They think all the cards are available to be chosen. And then you close the deck up and you say, think of your card. A lot of magicians in the comedy side of Magic do this sort of gag. And it's funny, but I've done it a lot more subtle. When I bring someone on stage to talk about dual realities in my program, I will bring them up and I will show the cards are all different. So there's a little believability factor there. And then I don't make it a joke. I turn to them, I say, now I want you to think of one of these cards. And I hold the cards up in a very unique way. I bring my hands up and I'm almost blocking the cards a little bit. So when you rewatch the video, watch what I do. I bring my hands up. I'm blocking part of the deck. And when I bring the cards up, I'm moving a little bit. There's a little movement. And when I move, I start to close up the cards. And their eyes are scanning. And it's crazy how some people do not notice that the bottom card right here is way over here, but somehow when you're closing up the cards, there's a visual thing that happens for them when there's a rhythm to this. So don't underestimate this. I know it's going to come across to a lot of you as, oh, it's just a joke, it's kind of a throwaway, but I wanted to do this video with a magician filming so we can go out in public and do some of these weird, simple gags that typically are throwaways. Sorry I got interrupted by an alarm and a text, but all I was saying is that when I bring someone on stage at a seminar to talk about dual reality, the dual reality is that they're picking one card or having one trick done to them. The audience has a different perception, which is all the cards are the same. But what I realized after doing this for a while is the person I did it to half the time was also fried. They're like, wait, what? To the audience, they're like, wait, guys, seriously? They were blank? Because I would turn to the audience and I would show them what his choice really was, but I waited a lot longer so I would know the room would have a chance to digest it. And they would laugh, and this guy half the time up here would be like, wait, what's going on? They didn't believe that they only had one choice, and it kind of came onto this aha moment that if done subtly and handled correctly, you can make this 100% accurate every single time, just like you saw in the video. Now I want to address that video because I look at the comments and people are saying things like, oh, he did it 1,000 times and these are the 8 times it worked and things like that. It's not true. I went out on the street with my friend Derek Ostavani, who's a great magician, and just to prove that something so stupid can work if done right. And these takes that you saw in the video are all the takes we did. I left them all in. As a matter of fact, I left the crazy girl in there who was so upset in front of her friends because she hates to be upstage, and she was the one, I didn't even show all the footage of it, but I did the trick to her friends, and she was just so mad the whole time because she didn't like not knowing. She was one of those kind of people. They all seem like cool people, but she hates magic in that sense. And she's the one who's like, well, you're really good at counting. And it's like, this trick has nothing to do with counting, but I played it off. I was like, hey, you caught me. It was just so hilarious. You might notice a few kids at a table, I did it to them 3 or 4 times, and you might notice at the very end of one of the clips, the kid goes, oh, and he threw his arms up because he said, if you were to see the whole clip, he goes, oh, I finally figured it out. And he was so happy because it took him 4 tries of watching the trick to even catch me. That's how amazing it can be. So again, just to get back to it, the reverse fan, you're showing them one card, the bottom card. What I like to do is handle it like this. Shuffle up the cards. So this is a key thing, shuffling up the cards. And I can glance right here. So you don't want to do this because that's too obvious. Just kind of subtly glance. Or better yet, give the cards to them to shuffle. Because when you take the cards back, guess what? They are taken back like this and you can see the bottom card. There's that 10. So you can do this in many different ways. Another little subtle thing I added in the video is first showing the cards all legit. Then I turn to one person, typically to my far right, because then no one else can see what I'm doing. I'd say, just pick one of these cards. And I'm kind of pointing, like pick one of these cards. I'm blocking them all. Do I have an ace on the bottom again? Damn it. Because then you don't see much. Look at that, all these aces. Then you turn to someone on your right, you do the reverse fan, and you say, pick one of these cards. You can just bring it up for a beat. This is how fast I do it, guys. Watch. Pick one of these cards. You got one? And I just close the fan up and take it away. Their eyes, they don't have a choice. Their eyes go to one, but they don't know there's only one. It's amazing. So that's that in a nutshell. And then at the end, as I bring my hands down, a lot of times, which I can't do on a YouTube video because you guys are watching, the camera's on me at all times and you're seeing it over and over and over. So it's out of context. You're seeing it from a bird's perspective, but done live, especially first time and only one time, it's a different perspective. So it's easy to sit back at home and go, oh, all he did was reverse fan it. Of course, they had one choice and everyone's dumb. It's like, no, it's not quite like that. So what I do when I bring my hands down is I do a little swing cut as I bring my hands down and I'm just cut the cards. And now the card's not on the bottom, it's now in the middle. It's a 5 of spades, hey. And then I go through the cards and it apparently, there's 6 of spades in this case, comes out from the middle, and that gives it a nice little touch as well. So there's some subtleties to this to make it a little bit more interesting. I just wanted to get into some of those little details because some of my fans are hardcore magicians, some of them know nothing about magic, and most of you are more in between, where little tricks like this are great to get you out of hot water, something to do at a bar if someone puts you on the spot, etc., etc. So there's that. As far as some of the comments, they were so good. Some people were saying things like this. I have a blank deck of cards here. Some people were saying I had a legitimate blank deck of cards. Now these are all just blank, legitimately blank cards. And some were saying that I had just placed one real card into the deck, so when I fanned them in front of them, only one card was visible. And that wouldn't look so good. See how this does not look good? It doesn't look right, even though it's still just one card. So interestingly, when you have a regular deck of cards and you fan them and you see one card, the brain doesn't see it as incorrect, because when you fan cards, there's always this big white section with just little bits of card even showing. So it's kind of a unique little thing. Some other comments were really funny. Some people were saying I had a special deck of cards with certain numbers repeating, and it psychologically forced them. I thought that was kind of clever. Some were saying things like fanning the cards in a very specific way where, see how I can see all these cards, right? So if you fan the cards really tightly, you almost can't see all the cards. That 5 stands out a lot. Some people were saying I fanned the cards really tight and then caused one card to stand out more than the other. That was a very interesting idea. One person literally said it's always the center card because people always look at the center of the pack to pick a card. That's not really true, because people would kind of glance around. If I did this to you, you wouldn't necessarily think of the center card. Well, maybe that 10, because it's centered and also spread a little thicker, like the previous people had said. That is a somewhat of a force. If you could watch their eyes and you see their eyes go to that, there's a unique force there. Because if you watch the end of the video, I literally do that to somebody, and no one mentioned it in the comments, and it drove me nuts because I threw it in there as a zinger just to piss people off. I did a trick where I went up to a random spectator and I showed them the cards like this. Literally, and I went through the cards and I said, just pick a card. And I watched their eyes, and I watched for the moment that they recognized a card with a gap of cards they could see. I spread the cards nice and tight. They were facing them. And as I went through the cards, I said, I'm going to have you try something. I want you to look at all the cards and just pick one card. And I literally slowed down after I stopped talking, and I knew it was going to be one of those cards. I cut to it, so I knew it was either the top or the bottom or a second to the bottom. And those I could just pull off as well. So there's so many versions of this type of idea. So I threw a few extra things in this video, and I don't think everyone saw it, or they just kind of threw it away because they assumed, oh, hey, it's just a reverse fan, and that's it. Of course, some people said, oh, there is no explanation. He can just read minds. Some said they're just trick cards. One card is shorter than the other cards, and that is a callback from trick decks at magic shops. And so some people are confusing tricks like this with self-working tricks at a magic shop. So there's all kinds of fun little explanations. One of my favorites was that he uses 2 different decks, a trick deck and a regular deck. I don't know how that explains anything, but that was one of the explanations. So for those that are interested in what I do professionally outside of just the silly fun of YouTube, and you want to learn more about my body language and magic and all that kind of stuff, I'll put a link in the description. It's actually pretty fascinating stuff, and I make it really fun with magic in the program to make it more digestible and entertaining. But body language is my thing. I absolutely love it, and I think what I'm going to do is do a some kind of top 10 easiest ways to read people type of video. Even though it's outside the scope of pranks and magic, I think body language is a great life skill, and I think most of you would probably enjoy it. So comment down below and let me know if you'd really like to see that. All right, guys, we could talk about this forever because there's so many subtleties, and I really enjoy the silly, sneaky stuff in magic. But back onto this giveaway here. These glasses from Zungle are awesome. If you haven't seen The Smartest Man Alive or the part 2, such a fun idea where my phone is sending information to my glasses because someone's talking to me from afar as I'm chatting to people about information or trivia or math or whatever. So cool. So congratulations to Ryan H for winning a pair of these for that video. We got almost 1 million views. But the part 2, you guys, unfortunately, is sitting there dead because the algorithm is stupid. So I cannot do the other giveaway because I need to at least make $100 or it is not worth my time. I can't do some shipping and handling on some $200 pair of sunglasses if I'm making literally $9. So I can't do it. So I'm gonna have to go back to my old school disclaimer of all videos have to have 100,000 views minimum for it to even make sense. But back to a giveaway, guys. So there's a book here, it got sent to me, and this is pretty cool. There's a small mention of me in here as far as YouTube stuff, but it's called Magical. And if you want to check this out on Amazon, I'm sure you can get it there, but I have 2 copies to give away. I'm gonna do one in this video and then in my next magic video as well. These are just really kind of cool. It's all about the magic industry, how people make money, the top paid magicians, the different ways you can make money in different industries, from street performances to stage to cruises, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very interesting read. It's all about that. It has a lot of stuff with Penn and Teller in here and a lot of magicians. So it's called Magical, How Magic and Its Star Performers Transform the Entertainment Industry and or economy. And so I will put a link in the description if you want to go check this out on Amazon and read more. I don't know if there's a peek inside feature on there or not, but I will look through the comments and I'll grab one of you, say something fun about my channel or that you love magic or whatever, and I'll grab a random comment and send this off to you. And you guys, that's it. I'll catch you guys really soon. I know that was a lot of talking and I talk fast, but I love magic and I get excited. The reverse fan, do not underestimate it. There's a lot of really cool things you could do with it. I will, as we sign off, I will show you one last time something for those who don't know about it, because I did brush over it very quickly. If you put a blank card onto a deck and you do a reverse fan, the cards are indeed blank. You can show them to somebody and then close the fan. And there's a million different ways, but my favorite is just push off the bottom card into this position right here. From this angle, they can't see it. And I've palmed off the bottom card, and you can bring that up to the deck right here, and then you can let it drop down like a door. And now you've printed all the cards. Quite a cool little trick. You can palm it off and stick it on there in a million different ways. There's some very flashy ways. This palm right here is very unique, where you push it off from underneath and palm it. So it's right here. It's a little push off from underneath. But from this angle, you don't see anything. It just looks like your hand comes by. You come up, you come down, and the card is printed. All kinds of different ways. But I kind of like the going from corner to corner because the card was blank, it's still blank, and now you're printing on a diagonal some ink, and now the cards are no longer blank. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I know this has turned into some sort of a magic vlog. That was not my intent. So I hope you liked the video. Hit that like button. Please share it with your friends and get more people involved in fun magic tricks you could do to anyone, anytime, and anywhere. Speaking of which, go check out my book. I'll put a link in the description as well. It's How to Trick Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere. All right, peace out. See you next week.